I grew out my hair to where all I had was frosted tips left because of the pixie cut and my hair growing out. That's how it looked. Welcome back to my channel. It's Alicia here, and today I wanted to do my big chop hair journey over the last 10 years, my trials and tribulations over the time. So let's start from the beginning. So growing up, I do have 4 other siblings. We do have a white mom, and we are all biracial, and she really taught us to embrace our natural hair, and she would do our hair, and she loved our natural hair. So we grew up with our mom embracing our curls, our natural hair. So everything was great there. Starting middle school and high school. So my middle school years were from 2008 to 2011. And then high school was 2011 to 2015. So from 2008 to 2015, those were my adolescence years, my years of growing up. And that was such a different time back then. So it's completely different from how it is now. So the schools that I went to, my elementary school, my middle school, my high school, they were all pretty diverse. It was a melting pot. So you had people from all over the world, different cultures, different backgrounds, everything. So there was never an issue of it being just entirely one particular race. So middle school started, so it was 2008, 2009, and I started to realize that all the girls would be straightening their hair. That's what fueled in me a desire, a want to straighten my hair. And I remember I was only able to get it straightened one time within those 3 years, but I loved having my hair straight for that moment. So I told myself once I was able to start doing my hair by myself and my mom no longer was taking care of my hair, I was gonna do that. So 2011 rolls around, it's 9th grade, and I'm able to start doing my own hair. So I knew I was wanting to straighten my hair for the first day of school, and that was the demise of my hair. Since then, from 2011 to 2015, I was straightening my hair every other week, and if I wasn't straightening my hair, I was putting my hair in a tight bun, and I was not taking care of my curls. And slowly but surely, my hair started right around here in 9th grade, and it started getting shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter. So you just saw the demise of my hair, straight pieces everywhere. The curls were not defined at all. So the biggest significant moment for me was graduation from high school, and I wanted to wear my curls out for my pictures, and there were just straight pieces everywhere, and I did not like what I was seeing in the mirror. So I told myself once I graduated and starting college, I wanted a brand new start. And in 2015, if y'all know, it was the big natural hair journey movement moment where everyone was embracing their coils, their curls, no matter what texture it was, you were embracing it and you were living with it. That was the thing in 2015. So I came across a page and I saw a girl having damaged hair like my own, and she did the big chop. And her hair was flourishing after she did the big chop. And I remember wanting to do the same thing. So I went to a salon called TGF's here, and they did not specialize in curly hair at all, but I was just like, go ahead and take off my hair, cut it off. I want to do this big chop. And that was the biggest significant moment ever. And little did I know that would change the trajectory of how I would want my hair and how I was living my life. So we're at 2015. I finally did my big chop. It was super cute. I had the cutest, tightest little finger coils that naturally sprang on themselves once I got my hair cut. And I remember when I was getting my hair cut about how emotional it was and how freeing it was, and it was just happy tears. So if you do end up getting a cut and you do feel these emotions, it's perfectly normal and it's fine because you're doing something to your hair that you've never done before. So it's a new experience. And at that point of getting my hair cut, I knew I just wanted to grow out my hair and keep it natural. So that's when doing all the natural protective hairstyles really came in full force with me. So I did Senegalese twists, Marley twists, braid outs, twist outs, box braids. That's when I had so much fun doing that, and that's what really helped my hair grow out. So I did that from 2015 to 2017. So the end of 2017, I started to get bored, I'm not gonna lie. I thought with myself, I really wanted to straighten my hair again. So I learned what was called a sew-in. So they braid most of your hair and only leave about a sliver of your natural hair out, and you straighten it, or whatever type of texture hair you want in your head, you would apply it to your natural hair up top. So I wanted to do a sew-in, a straight sew-in. And I remember when I was getting it, I thought that this was the best thing I could do for my hair without damaging it too much. But little did I know, any type of heat, even if it was low heat, was gonna damage the definition of my curl. So over time, I did have it for about a month. I took it out, and the top curls and then my bottom curls that were protected under the fake hair, it was completely different. And I was so annoyed at myself. So I got frustrated, and I was like, why not just straighten all my hair? So I started straightening my hair pretty often. Not as often as high school, but in college I straightened it, I want to say once a month or so. But that was still enough to damage my hair. So the ends of my hair were straight. They weren't breaking off, but they were straight, and I didn't like it. So at that point, I had been contemplating doing a big chop again. So I just decided to just cut off the 4 inches of my hair, which was straight on the bottom. I cut those off, and I was rocking my hair for a while, and I was like, let me just grow it out again. So I ultimately still didn't like what I was seeing. So April 1st of 2018, I decided to do my second big chop with intentions of truly growing out my hair and learning how to take care of it. So the first reason I wanted that big chop was to finally see my curls again and grow out my hair. But the second time around was to truly take care of my hair, have it grow out, and try not to manipulate my hair as much as I had in the past. So I do the big chop in 2018, and before I did my big chop, I was wanting one last hoorah moment. So I decided to dye my pixie cut blonde, and that was the last thing I told myself I was gonna do. So I'm at the salon, I get the cut, we dye my hair, and it was so cute. I enjoyed it, and I told myself this time around I'm going to deep condition my hair. I'm gonna co-wash my hair with conditioner. I'm just really gonna make sure my hair is nice and moisturized this time around with my hair growing out. So from 2018 to 2020, then in 2020, I grew out my hair to where all I had was frosted tips left because of the pixie cut and my hair growing out. That's how it looked. I grew it out. So the end of 2020, not gonna lie, here goes another 2 years. I'm getting tired, and I wanted to do something different, but I knew I did not want to mess with the definition of my curl. So I wanted to dye it again, and I wanted to dye it the frosted honey color tips that I had. So I ended up dyeing all of it again, and I did it with 3 boxes of Cream of Nature. Big no-no. And I really didn't realize that that would mess up the definition of my curl. So it was cute. I really didn't like it as much as I would have had I not gone so light. And that ultimately left my curls not as bouncy and defined as they once were. From 2020 on to 2021, I just let my honey blonde hair kind of just grow out. And the summer of 2021, I did end up finding out me and my husband were pregnant, and at that point I really wanted to color correct my hair, but I knew being pregnant you can't dye your hair at that time, so I couldn't color correct it until after I gave birth. So my maternity pictures, although they're beautiful, I really wish I would have color corrected my hair looking back on them now. So I waited into the summertime of 2022. After my son was about 6 months, that's when I decided to dye my hair dark. So from the summer of 2022 to now, to January 2025, I have not dyed my hair. I have not done anything to manipulate my definition of my curls. The only thing I have done was cut it. I do trims, and I have blow dried it 2 or 3 times from 2022 to now. Over the last 3 years, I've done it 3 times just to see the length of my hair. And the biggest issue I'm having now, and for anyone who does want to do the big chop and want to start fresh, is to have patience. Don't constantly fight with yourself. You know, for me, over the last 10 years, as y'all know now, it's been a lot of self-fighting about what I want, wanting something different. And you just have to enjoy the journey, the process. You know, this is not a race to have the biggest, longest hair. It's literally a journey, and you have to love every step of the way, or else you're not going to have a good journey at all. These next couple of months, I may or may not do another big chop, or I might do a curly cut. So this is the length I'm at now at the moment. A bottom curl. It's like right under my shoulder a little bit. That's really the hardest thing. If you are going to big chop, know what you want to do. Know if you want to be a natural girly or natural guy. And if you want to keep your curls or your coils intact, that in the future you shouldn't be doing a lot of manipulation to your hair. And there are some people that are what's called natural straight girlies and guys, where they keep their hair straight and their natural hair just grows and grows and grows. I've also seen that be done, and their hair looks very healthy and it's still very long. Even when they straighten it, it doesn't look damaging to their hair. That has been my experience and my advice to you all. If you are wanting to do the big chop, do it. Don't contemplate, and really have a vision of what you want for yourself. What is it that you want? The biggest critic of anyone is our own selves. So just realize when you do this, know what you want, have intention, make a vision board, know what you want out of doing your big chop journey. Whatever pathway you want to go on with your natural hair is your journey. So if y'all have any questions or comments, definitely let me know. This is Alicia, and I hope you enjoyed.